partnership relations based on our historic friendship. And in 2006, President Yudhoyono made an official visit to Moscow and St. Petersburg. 10 agreements were signed during this visit. They covered the legal basis of our relations in different spheres, in technology, in economy, in trade, and so on. Apart from Moscow, President Yudhoyono also visited St. Petersburg, and he visited the Blue Mosque in St. Petersburg, the largest mosque at that time in Russia. And after that, the reciprocal visit by the then President Vladimir Putin to Jakarta was made in September 2007. I'm sure many Indonesians still remember this visit. It was called a historic visit by the Russian President to Indonesia. It was the first visit of the Russian President to Indonesia. I mean the President of the Russian Federation. And we concluded 8 agreements covering our cooperation again in different spheres. Practically now the legal sphere, legal basis of our relations is already done. Now we move on to practical cooperation in different spheres.
Okay. We now move to Pak Ako.
Yes.
Pak Ako, ada mungkin tadi komentari mengenai hubungan Indonesia atau kunjungan presiden kita.
Saya kira kita perlu menggarisbawahi, walaupun itu sejarah ya. Kalau tanpa bantuan Rusia pada waktu itu, dulu namanya Uni Soviet, pada tahun 62 seperti beliau mengatakan tadi, tidak mungkin Irian Barat itu kembali ke pangkuan Ibu Pertiwi. Dan ini harus dipelajari kembali atau ditekankan kembali dalam sejarah, karena banyak yang lupa ya. Itu tahun 62 kan sudah hampir 50 tahun yang lalu ya, setengah abad ya. Tapi saya kira itu sejarah yang tidak bisa sanggah gitu. Itu satu kenyataan. Nah, dalam masalah sosial kemasyarakatannya, banyak perwira-perwira kita, khususnya perwira Angkatan Laut, karena waktu itu kita butuh bantuan untuk merebut Irian Barat dan juga menjaga kemerdekaan. Banyak sekali perwira-perwira kita, khususnya dari Angkatan Laut dan Angkatan Udara, yang belajar ke Rusia pada waktu itu. Karena mungkin pada waktu itu politik kita anti penjajahan, sehingga Barat dalam tanda kutip itu seolah-olah mengambil jarak dengan kita. Tapi Rusia tidak ya. Dan itu saya kira sejalan dengan politik Indonesia yang bebas aktif ya. Tidak berkiprah kepada Barat, kepada siapa, tapi pragmatis ya, seperti dikatakan Pak Dubes tadi. Nah, kalau Anda lihat ya, di Indonesia sekarang mungkin generasi kedua, mungkin generasi Anda atau generasi di atas Anda, itu yang ibu-ibunya dari Rusia atau negara-negara Eropa Timur, karena hubungan baik kita di masa lalu, secara politik maupun secara kemanusiaan. Saya kira ada beberapa artis yang tiba-tiba mengatakan bahwa ibunya dari Polandia atau ibunya dari Rusia. Itu fakta dan kita nggak bisa menyangkal pada fakta itu. Dan saya kira itu perlu diperkuat, diingat, dan dianggap sebagai satu masalah positif dalam hubungan baik kita dengan Rusia dan juga negara-negara Eropa lainnya. Ya, saya kira itu.
Okay, I just want to make the summary of what just Paco said. It was, we have to appreciate more about our relationship with Russia, because there's so many role that the Russian government give to our country, and especially, for example, like today, there's many of even local celebrity in Indonesia married with a Russian man or Russian guy, and some of them even proud to have a Russian descendant, like that. Yeah. Okay, sir. One more question. If we go back to the early history of the relation between Indonesia and Russia, what was the trigger of the bilateral cooperation? Is it because of a trade or politics or economy?
If we go to the early history of our relations, first of all, it was political cooperation.
Political
Cooperation because Indonesia needed support from big powers in order to strengthen its independence. That was the core issue. Now, of course, time has changed. We have another agenda on our bilateral relations in political, trade, economic, cultural, and other issues.
Okay, it's fascinating how our country have a very beautiful relation in the past, Minister. Okay, we have to take a short break again. Ya, pemirsa, bila Anda memiliki pertanyaan atau pendapat yang berhubungan dengan hubungan Indonesia dan Rusia, silakan telepon ke 021 3919 121 atau 021 3919 206. Jangan kemana-mana, kami akan segera kembali. Kembali lagi dalam Kilas Opini, dan pemirsa, topik kami malam ini adalah tetap membahas hubungan bilateral antara Rusia dan Indonesia. Dan saat ini sudah ada penelpon dengan halo? Halo, ya, dengan siapa saya bicara?
Dengan Kawal Tarigan di Bekasi.
Bapak Kawal Tarigan
di
Bekasi. Oke, Pak Kawal, ada yang mau disampaikan?
Oh ya, kalau bisa saya langsung ke beliau.
Oke, mau dalam bahasa Inggris atau bahasa Indonesia?
Ya, немножко по-русски и по-английски.
Bahasa Rusia, oke. Oke, silakan Pak Kawal.
Добрый вечер, товарищ Your Excellency Amassador.
Добрый вечер.
Я бил на русский 2 года, но пока я забил по-русски, но я говорю по-английски сейчас.
Bagaimana Pak Kawal?
Yeah, before we owe you money about $2.5 million, yeah. We got Irian Barat, Papua.
Yeah.
What you can help us now for build up our country? For example, maybe you can make this for launching rocket in Morotai, maybe, or something. And the next question I ask you, how about the Sinol? I heard in the newspaper there are many hooligans. Is true or not? Okay, thank you, sir.
Oke. Terima kasih Pak Kawal. Baik, tadi Pak Kawal ini. Mr. There was a phone call from Bekasi. Name is Mr. Kawal. He asked about what about the Russian role in present for Indonesia, such as back then Russia helped to bring Irian back to Indonesia, and what sort of role does Russia have for Indonesia today?
Well, we are now cooperating with Indonesia in different spheres, and it's a mutually beneficial cooperation. For example, Russia provides Indonesia with modern technology. The Russian private company is building an Indonesian satellite, Telkom 3, which will be launched from the Russian territory in the end of this year. This is only one example. In the military technical sphere, we are also cooperating closely. We are providing Indonesia with the most modern examples of military technique. For Indonesian armed forces, it is very important because they need to modernize their military technique. In trade sphere, we also cooperating closely. For example, in 2007, the two presidents of our country made a task to achieve a 1 billion target in our bilateral trade by the end of 2008. But I must tell you that, in fact, that figure was surpassed, and at that time our bilateral trade in 2008 was 1.4 billion US dollars. But this year, I am sure that we shall surpass 2 billion US dollars trade volume. That is quite a dynamic increase. But of course, even this figure doesn't reflect the potential of our two economies. Both Russian and Indonesian economies are very large economies. For example, the volume of our internal production is 1.7 trillion US dollars, whereas the Indonesian gross domestic product is more than 700 billion US dollars. Such two large economies have huge potential to cooperate in trade and economy, which we are doing now. And I think this helps both countries, Indonesia and Russia.
From what I heard, Indonesia and Russia also make a trade in armed forces. Indonesia bought about 18 Mi-17 helicopters back then.
Yes, that was done this August.
This August, yeah.
But not only helicopters. These Mi-17 helicopters are especially designed for Indonesian army. As for example, Indonesian other military branches, we are procuring BMP-3F, that is the amphibious light tank, which is needed by Indonesian Marine Corps. And of course we are supplying Indonesia with the most modern Sukhoi jets. Sukhoi planes are supplied to the Indonesian Air Force, and now they have already a squadron of Sukhoi jets. During the last parade devoted to the Indonesian Independence Day in Jakarta, Sukhoi planes demonstrated their huge capabilities. That is one of the most modern fighters in the world.
Okay, we now move to a little more lighter agenda or cooperation. What about the culture and tourism between Indonesia and Russia? Is there any agenda in that field?
Well, from the beginning of our relations back in the late 50s last century, the interest of public of Russia towards Indonesian culture and vice versa was so great that we used to sing Indonesian songs. And until now, the Indonesian culture is very popular in Russia and vice versa. In 2007, we brought the famous Bolshoi Theater to Jakarta, ballet theater to Jakarta. The famous Russian ballet was shown here, and it aroused a great interest among Indonesian public. Last year, we marked the 60th anniversary of the establishment of our relations. And in this regard, we held in Moscow and in other cities of Russia, we held the Days of Indonesian Culture. That was with great success. And in Jakarta and in other cities of Indonesia, we held the Days of Russian Culture. In tourism sector, it is also very promising sector for cooperation. I must tell you that such places as Bali became very popular among Russian tourists.
Yes.
And each year the number of Russian tourists visiting in Indonesia is increasing. For example, I can tell you that only last year the number of Russian tourists visiting Bali was 80,000.
80,000.
80,000.
Yeah.
I'm sure this year it will be even more, because each year it is progressing more and more. Why? Because, first of all, Russian tourists, they like the culture of Indonesia. They like the nature of Indonesia. And I'm sure this is a very promising sector. But I'm sure also that when, with the rising of the middle class of Indonesia, the number of Indonesian tourists visiting Russian places will be increasing as well, because Russia has many places so interesting from nature point of view, from history point of view, from cultural point of view, that of course Indonesian tourists must visit these Russian places of interest.
Oke, menurut Pak Ako, mungkin ada informasi mengenai warga Indonesia yang mungkin berlibur juga ke Rusia, seperti tadi ke Indonesia sampai 80.000 orang.
Iya, saya kira
turis.
Itu bagus sekali, tapi yang perlu saya jelaskan bahwa dalam bidang kebudayaan, khususnya dalam bahasa, itu banyak sekali minat mahasiswa Indonesia yang belajar bahasa Rusia. Ya. Banyak itu artinya kalau dulu mungkin tidak ada, hanya khusus yang mau belajar ke Rusia itu belajar bahasa Rusia di sini mungkin beberapa bulan. Tapi sekarang khususnya di Universitas Indonesia itu ada jurusan yang mengajarkan bahasa Rusia. Saya pernah mengantar teman saya, kebetulan sama-sama mengajar di universitas, datang ke kedubes Rusia untuk minta kalau bisa dapatkan khusus kelas mengenai bahasa Rusia. Tapi waktu itu karena fasilitas itu mungkin di kedutaan terbatas, jadi dianjurkan ke kedutaan Polandia, karena Polandia juga punya bahasa Rusia. Tapi ini contoh bagaimana minat mahasiswa Indonesia di negeri kita untuk belajar bahasa Rusia. Kenapa selama ini kita hanya belajar bahasa Inggris dan bahasa Mandarin? Tapi bahasa Rusia juga harus dipelajari karena ini salah satu adidaya yang juga banyak pengaruhnya, karena hubungan kita makin lama makin meluas dalam banyak sektor, bukan hanya sektor perdagangan tapi juga seni budaya dan juga mungkin dalam pariwisata. Saya kira itu tambahan saya.
Menarik sekali. What an interesting point of view, sir. But we need to have a short break again. And pemirsa, bila Anda ingin berpartisipasi kembali dalam Kilas Opini kali ini, Anda bisa menghubungi 021-3919-121 atau 021-3919-206. Kami masih menantikan telepon dari Anda, dan kami akan segera kembali. Don't go anywhere.